My mother asked for me at 2:17 a.m. The nurse said she'd been restless all night, calling my name over and over, like she was afraid she wouldn't get another chance. When I walked into the hospital room, the lights were low, machines hummed softly. The air smelled like disinfectant and something heavier. Final, she looked smaller than I remembered, fragile, but her eyes were sharp, too sharp for someone who was supposed to be fading. You came? She whispered. Of course, I said, pulling the chair closer. She reached for my hand. Her grip was stronger than I expected. There's something I need to tell you, she said. I nodded. I thought it would be about money, or regrets, or forgiveness. I was wrong. You're not who you think you are, she said. The words hit me like cold water. What do you mean? I asked, trying to laugh it off. She shook her head slowly. No, she said, I mean that literally. She glanced toward the door, then back at me. You can't tell your father, she whispered. My chest tightened. My father's been dead for 10 years, I said, her eyes filled with tears. That's not who I mean. The room felt suddenly smaller. He's not your biological father, she said. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. None came. I never wanted you to find out like this, she continued. But I don't have time anymore. I stood up. No, I said. You're confused. You're tired. She tightened her grip on my hand. I've carried this for 32 years, she said. I know exactly what I'm saying. My heart pounded in my ears. Then who is? I asked. She hesitated, just long enough to scare me. His name is Samuel, she said, and he never knew you existed. The room spun. I sat back down. She told me about a summer before I was born, a mistake, a choice, a man who wanted more than she could give. I chose safety over honesty, she said, and you paid the price for it. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to feel. There's more, she whispered. Of course there was. She reached under her pillow and pulled out an envelope, old, yellowed, my name written on it in shaky handwriting. Inside is the truth, she said. Everything I couldn't say out loud. Her breathing grew shallow. The nurse stepped closer. Promise me, my mother said, her voice barely there. Promise you won't let this disappear. I promise, I said. She smiled, relieved. She died less than an hour later. I sat in my car outside the hospital until the sun came up, the envelope unopened, because once I opened it, there would be no going back, and deep down, I already knew whatever was inside was going to change every relationship in my life. I didn't open the envelope that night. I drove home instead. The house felt wrong the moment I stepped inside. Too quiet, too unchanged, like nothing had happened while my entire world had just cracked open. I placed the envelope on the kitchen table and stared at it for hours. My name looked unfamiliar, written in her handwriting, like it belonged to someone else. I kept hearing her voice. You're not who you think you are. Sometime after midnight, I finally sat down and opened it. Inside were 3 things: a letter, a folded document, and a photograph. I started with the letter. If you're reading this, Then I ran out of time. I'm sorry for waiting so long. I told myself I was protecting you. But the truth is, I was protecting myself. My chest tightened. Samuel was not a mistake. The mistake was believing I could bury the truth and still live honestly. She wrote about meeting him, a co-worker, older, kind in a quiet way, someone who listened when my father didn't. I loved him differently, more openly, more honestly. But I was afraid of what that love would cost me. I clenched my jaw. When I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. Samuel wanted to be involved. He wanted a life. Your father wanted stability. I already knew what choice she'd made. I told Samuel the baby wasn't his. I told him not to contact me again. He believed me. My hands shook. I thought the lie would end there. It didn't. The next page was the folded document, a birth record, amended, my father's name typed neatly where Samuel should have been, legal, clean, final. I felt sick. The photograph was last. It showed my mother standing beside a man I didn't recognize. He was smiling, not forced, not staged, real. He had my eyes. I sat there until the sun came up, not crying, just empty. Later that morning, my wife asked if I was okay. I told her my mother had passed. I didn't tell her the rest, because how do you explain that the foundation of your life just shifted overnight? The funeral came and went in a blur. People said kind things. They spoke about my mother's strength, her sacrifices. I nodded, smiled, held their hands all the while. I kept thinking about a man who had no idea the woman he loved had taken a child from him. 2 days after the funeral, I did something I wasn't sure I was ready for. I searched his name, Samuel Reed. It took less than 10 minutes. He was still alive. That realization hit harder than everything else, because now the secret wasn't sealed in the past. It was standing in the present, waiting. I found an address, a small town 2 hours away. I memorized it, then closed my laptop. I told myself I'd wait, that I needed time, that I owed it to my family to think. But every memory started replaying differently. Every moment with my father, every time I'd felt like I didn't quite belong. A week later, I was driving. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I just followed the address. His house was modest, white siding, neat lawn, wind chimes on the porch. It looked peaceful. I sat in my car for a long time, watching, second-guessing. Then the front door opened, and he stepped outside. I knew instantly, the same way you know your own reflection. He moved slowly, carefully, like someone who had lived through disappointment and learned how not to expect too much. I almost laughed. I should have, but then he looked directly at my car. Our eyes met. Something changed in his expression. Not recognition, something deeper, instinct. I got out of the car. Every step felt unreal. I'm sorry, I said as I reached the porch. I know this is strange. He studied my face for a long time. You look like her. He finally said. My throat tightened. My mother passed away last week, I said. He nodded slowly. I wondered when I'd hear about her again. That sentence told me everything. He had never forgotten. We sat inside, coffee untouched between us. I need to ask you something, I said. He looked at me calmly. I already know what you're going to ask, he replied. My heart dropped. She told me you weren't mine, he said, but I never believed it. I swallowed hard. She was afraid. He continued, so was I. I told him who I was, said the words out loud. They felt foreign. He didn't cry, didn't shout, didn't smile. He just closed his eyes. I always felt like something was missing, he said quietly. Now I know what it was. We talked for hours about my life, about his, about the years between. He showed me a drawer. Inside were letters he never sent, photos he never threw away. A life paused, not ended. I didn't want to destroy your family, he said, so I stayed silent. That sentence hurt more than anger ever could. As I stood to leave, he said something that followed me home. You don't owe me anything, he said, but if you want to know me, I'm here. I drove back in silence again, just like after the apartment, just like after the funeral, except this time, the silence felt heavier, because now, the secret wasn't hidden. It was waiting to be dealt with, and I still hadn't told my wife, or my children, or the man who raised me. The truth was no longer buried. It was standing at my door. I didn't tell anyone for 3 weeks, not my wife, not my children, not even my sister. I lived inside the secret my mother had carried for decades, and I finally understood how it had slowly hollowed her out. Every normal moment felt dishonest, every laugh felt borrowed. Night, I replayed conversations from my childhood, moments with the man who raised me, the man I called Dad. How he taught me to ride a bike, how he waited in the rain after my games, how he never missed a birthday. And now there was Samuel, a man who never got the chance. The guilt didn't feel logical, but it was there. I finally told my wife on a Sunday afternoon. We sat at the kitchen table while the kids played outside. I told her everything, slowly, carefully. She didn't interrupt, didn't react right away, just listened. When I finished, she reached across the table and held my hand. You didn't lose a father, she said. You found the truth. That sentence stayed with me. Telling my children was harder. They were old enough to understand, too young to fully process it. So Grandpa isn't really your dad? My son asked. He's my dad, I replied. He just didn't give me my DNA. They accepted it more easily than I did. Kids usually do. The hardest part came last. The man who raised me was still alive, still proud, still unaware. I drove to his house with no plan, just the truth. He sat in his favorite chair, the one that dipped slightly to the left. The room smelled like old books and coffee. You look tired, he said. I replied. I told him. Every word felt like betrayal. He didn't stop me, didn't ask questions, didn't look away. When I finished, he nodded once, then said something I'll never forget. I always knew I wasn't perfect, he said, but I never doubted you were my son. My chest broke open. He stood up slowly and hugged me, not tightly, not dramatically, just firmly enough to remind me who he was. "You didn't choose this," he said, and neither did I. I asked him if he was angry. He shook his head. "No," he said. "I'm angry at the years that got stolen, not at you." That night, something inside me finally settled. Weeks later, Samuel met my family, nervous, quiet, respectful. He never tried to replace anyone. He never asked for anything that mattered. We started with coffee, then dinners, then birthdays. There were awkward moments, painful ones, but also something unexpected: peace. I realized something over time: a father isn't just the man who creates you, it's the man who shows up, and sometimes life gives you more than one version of that. I still carry my mother's letter, not as a wound, but as a reminder: truth doesn't destroy families, silence does. If you're listening to this while carrying a secret that's eating away at you, I hope you understand something now. The truth will hurt, but it will also free you, and the people who truly love you will find a way to stay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.